I'm no expert, but we're here to talk about UFC 249, H.Cejudo versus Dominick Cruz. Now, this matchup initially, I kind of was shaking my head at. I was like, hasn't Cruz been retired for a few years? Doesn't he do octagon side commentary now? I mean, how sharp can this guy be? I know he was the best bantamweight of his era and possibly the best bantamweight of MMA history thus far. But his last fight was in December of 2016, and it was a loss. He lost the decision to Cody Garbrandt. Now, that's nothing to be said against Dominick Cruz. Cody Garbrandt fought a very inspired fight that night. He probably fought the best fight anybody could have fought, game plan wise, timing, strategy. Just, he kind of beat Dominick Cruz sort of at his own game, doing the Matador style, stepping to the side, kind of pointing like, what were you swinging at? And did the same thing when he knocked him down a couple times. Hey, I got you. And Cody Garbrandt styled on him. He clowned him. But Dominick Cruz is still no slouch, even though he's been doing commentary. He's got a gang of attitude, bravado. He's been talking a lot of crap. He's ready. He feels like he can just step right back in and just reclaim what he feels is rightfully his. And so he's got the attitude. He is a champion, maybe not currently, but in life he's a champion in the MMA, in the octagon, and he's a champion at heart and in his mind. So he's ready to come for Henry. A lot of people don't like Henry. I think Henry's just a pit bull, determined fucking guy. Like this guy, let's stack it up, okay? They have common opponents. They both fought Mighty Mouse. Now, Dominick Cruz fought Mighty Mouse way back in like 2011. He got a decision. Now, Henry Cejudo fought him twice. He lost one decision, and then he gained the title. He beat Mighty Mouse, and basically that's when Mighty Mouse got traded over to one. And I believe UFC got Ben Askren, but you could say he was partly responsible for sending Mighty Mouse packing, leaving the UFC. Now, Dominick Cruz hasn't been very active. We know that. He hasn't fought in 3.5 years. And he was still kind of inactive within those years prior to that. He had 2016, he did beat TJ Dillashaw in a very exciting fight, decision that he won. And then, of course, he's had that exciting, very fun, thrilling, just strategic, beautiful fight to watch between him and Cody Garbrandt, who he was on the wrong end of the decision loss. And then you got Henry Cejudo, who after he beat Mighty Mouse, he just went on a tear. Like, he had a lot of fights. A lot of fights in 2019, and not a lot, but I mean he was active. He fought against TJ Dillashaw and he KO'd him right away. So you got a common opponent. Cruz had to go to the decision with Dillashaw, albeit it was a few years later. But Mighty Mouse knocked him out. Okay, and then stopped him. And then you've got his follow-up fight, the last fight he had against Moraes, where it's like Cejudo's kind of small. He's short for a bantamweight, I guess. And Moraes came out strong in the first round and the first couple minutes of the second round. I mean, he was kicking Cejudo's legs, and it looked like Cejudo was just having trouble like keeping both feet on the ground. He was trying to check these kicks and lift his legs, so he wasn't taking the full brunt of the impact. I mean, Moraes was throwing some powerful leg strikes and kicks and his punches, and he was coming in for the kill. Like he was not messing around. He was going after Cejudo, and he was putting the pressure on him. And in the first round, Cejudo was like just trying to survive. He was almost like only throwing punches back just to keep the guy off of him. And it looked like he was not going to be doing very well in that fight. Like after the first round, it looked clear that he was in trouble. And in the second round of that fight, in the first couple minutes, it wasn't as active, but he still wasn't in command. Moraes was still in command and still looking more powerful than Cejudo. And then something happened. They had an exchange about 2 minutes left in the second round. They had an exchange, and Cejudo was just going forward, like just plugging away, trying to touch him with the shots. And then he got him in a tie clinch, and he started landing knees to the body, to the head. Even though Moraes was trying to defend, he was just trying to block him with his arms. He wasn't trying to escape. And once Cejudo landed that tie clinch and started banging those knees out in the end of the second round, the tide changed. And then you seen in the third round, he came out and he just went after Moraes, and he just broke him down. And he's just a pit bull like that. He's a dog. He's determined. He is tough. And this fight, it would be wrong to dismiss Dominick Cruz as being too rusty, out of the game for too long. I think that is the one factor that's going to give Cejudo like a slight edge. But even still, when you're talking about someone that was as good as Dominick Cruz when he was going, it's hard to count him out. He hasn't been taking damage over the last 3 years. He's been fresh. He's been sitting octagon side. He's been strategizing, you could say. He's been letting his body and his mind recuperate from the damage. So the layoff could cause him to be rusty. His timing could be off, or it could cause him to be more fresh and less susceptible to damage. We're about to find out tonight. It's going to be an exciting fight. Probably one of the most, I mean, this card is stacked. I like that they do say this is one of the stacked cards, because I was looking at the prelims. Prelims are stacked. The main card is stacked. Man, it's hard for me to make videos about everybody. I got to try to go back and rewatch their fights. That way it's fresh in my mind. I don't want to just try to recall off memory. So it's a lot of work that goes into it. I'm not just throwing shit off the top of my head. I do follow this, and then I rewatch it again before I make a video to make sure that I remember it accurately. I'm no expert, but we do our homework. You know what I mean? So anyways, I'm excited for this fight, and I want Henry Cejudo to win. I think he's got a little bit more in front of him than Cruz does. It's like for Cruz, it's like you win this fight and then what? You dominate the division? I don't know. Like his style, his footwork, he's known for his elusiveness, his footwork, but his style isn't exactly smooth. He moves kind of awkwardly. For having great footwork and great generalship of the octagon, positioning, being able to slip out of the way of punches, and he kind of has this awkward herky-jerky thing where he leans his front shoulder down at you and then he throws a jab up like this. He walks in on you and he waits for you to react. And if you don't react quick enough, he starts throwing those awkward punches down from the hips. And his tactics are really unorthodox, but they're really effective. And we've seen that Cody Garbrandt had caught up to that, where TJ Dillashaw couldn't find it. Cody Garbrandt had mastered that. And with someone like Cejudo, does he have the skills and the subtleties? Yeah, I think he does. And not only that, I think he's willing to go in and take a couple of those little range-finding pitter-patter shots that Cruz throws out there to set his range and his fakes and all that. I think Cejudo's willing to take a couple of those to just get in there and get close and start digging to the body and touching him with little shots until he can get in there and cinch that clinch and start banging out knees. I mean, he's a tough guy. He can take big shots, and Cruz is not known for being a finisher. He's a decision winner. Cejudo is a knockout guy more so, or a finisher more so than Cruz is. So for me, the way that Cruz wins this fight is by getting on his bicycle and doing his weird little hop, his awkwardly unsmooth yet effective footwork that he has. Not smooth. It's fluid, but it's not smooth. Don't mix the two up. But it's effective. He's a champion. I'm not talking shit. He's just a goofy looking fighter. Cruz is. So Cejudo's got to get in there. He's got to take some damage. He's got to prove to be the more durable guy. And he's got to feint Cruz into some traps, kind of like Garbrandt did, and connect on him and break him down. And I think Cejudo if he can get in there and land shots and avoid being frustrated, avoid trying to load up on one big shot and just touch him and touch him and touch him, leg kicks here, knees here, any little thing he can do throughout the course of the first few rounds so he doesn't get frustrated at missing Dominick Cruz. If he can do that, I think he can get a decision and maybe even a late round stoppage. I'd like to see a late round stoppage. I like Dominick Cruz. I respect his career. But I feel like he's doing the UFC a solid by stepping in for this fight, and it's exciting for us fans. It's great for everybody all around. But I feel like Cejudo has been there. He's been in there still currently. And it's time for him to just send Dominick Cruz back to the octagon side and put the microphone back in his hand and have him call his next fight. So I'm no expert, but during the common opponents, you got Dillashaw took Cruz the whole distance decision. Cejudo knocks Dillashaw out. They both have a decision victory over Mighty Mouse, albeit Cruz has his decision victory over Mighty Mouse early in Mighty Mouse's career before he was actually Mighty Mouse. And Cejudo kind of like took his throne and sent him packing. So which one seems more significant in common opponents? I'm picking Cejudo to win this fight, although obviously to me, it can go either way, but I'm going with Cejudo, and I'm just really excited to see this fight. I'm no expert. You guys tell me what you think. I mean, we're just mere hours away. It's only like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. over here in Cali, so we still got some hours to go, but it's going to be a good card, and I'm excited that the UFC is back. And I'm about to make another video about the main event, so I'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right.